Sussy.
Does anyone remember the streets of San Francisco? I do. I remember it for the Epilog, because when I was a kid growing up and this show would be on, I figured I could just miss heaps of the middle of it. As long as I was there for the end and got the Epilog, then I could get a really good idea of actually what happened.
Would you like to ride with your son?
Listen, why don't you go home and talk to that husband of yours? He's a good man.
Maybe with Russell gone.
Well, I mean, we've got more room than we need.
This officer will drive you. I better get you to the hospital.
Oh, it's just a crease.
Just a crease. One guy is dead, okay? But you helped save 3 lives and you gave one back to that guy in Quinn.
And there they just summed up the whole story in one sentence. It's like the Epilog of the Epilog. I should have just jumped straight to this. And look, that's what this video is. It's actually an Epilog. It's not a comeback video. It's not a resurrection of the channel. I'm still in the same situation I was in as far as my time goes. I'm actually pushing some stuff aside just to do this video right now, and I just can't afford to do it anymore. Well, in the short to medium term anyway, what I'm going to do is I will revisit this channel in November. Maybe after that I might be able to find a bit more time to devote to this channel. Like I said, I really like it. So this is, like I said, so this is my last video until November. That sort of gives a bit of a clearer indication. I sort of left it a bit open-ended last time, but no, that's where I'm at with this. And look, just on my actual final video that I did last time, even though this is now my final video, it reminds me of somebody who sued John Farnham because he'd had his final tour or final concert, and then he decided to have another one. He got sued. What's the mindset of the guy that sued him? I mean, if he likes the music, isn't he glad he's coming back? Or maybe, and I was thinking about this, look, you know, he might be quite an uninteresting sort of a guy, you know, like at parties, it's pretty hard in a large group to have anything, you know, that anyone really wants to hear. You really got to dig deep. And especially as, you know, you get a bit older. And look, here's one sort of, you know, line as he entered any discussion was, oh, I went to John Farnham's last concert. Oh, did you? Well, that's something. But once John Farnham did another one, well, he couldn't tell that story anymore. He couldn't talk about the music and who was there. He's got nothing. He's just back to what's going on in his life. That's the only way I could think anyone would sue. Because like I said, if you like the music, he'd be glad he's back. But he wasn't. It really got to him. You had to sue him. So anyway, this is... so don't sue me for this. Even though I said that was my last video. This one is my last, like till November. You know, like I said, I will come back, and even if it's just a 10-second video, still haven't got enough time, I'll do one in January or February. That's what it might be. So, all right. So this Epilog involves 2 stories that I've had running. So I'll just get into those. And here's that old chestnut, Mr. Ihsas Get. This has been going since September 2016. Now, this was the last court dates that I could find, and I did this search on the 10th of July. And as you can see there's a direction hearing on the 16th of July, and then on the 19th and 20th are those 2 mental health assessment hearings. Now, let's have a quick look to see if the media has reported on any of these hearings. So as you can see, here's an Ihsas Get court hearing search, and there's nothing after May, which was when the trial got aborted. There it is, trial was aborted in May. And there's nothing after that. So there is no 22nd. There it is, thrown under bus, jury discharged in terror trial. Sorry for what I did. All this stuff happened in May. And there has been no reporting in the media of those 2 dates being the 19th and the 20th of July. So what can we determine from that? Well, I didn't get to this directions hearing, but I did get to the directions hearing prior to the trial. And in that direction hearing, famously, was where the AFP Commissioner set out to the judge about how the witnesses were to be interviewed and what could be reported by the media. So they're the sorts of things that happen. Now, there are actually 2 directions hearings before this mental health assessment. Now, I couldn't imagine why you would need a directions hearing. I mean, it's just a straight up mental health. They'd already been through the trial. A mental health assessment had already been determined. So it's surprising that there were 2 directions hearings, including this one on the 16th of July. So what could this have been about? Well, the fact that it hasn't been reported by the media, you could be assumed, and that would be the most likely thing that occurred at that directions hearing, was the AFB commissioner. He likes to sort of step in and start telling Supreme Court judges what they can and can't do, has told Bellew that the media are not to report on this because there's been no media reports at all. And of course, that means it's all wrapped up now. There's been no trial. I've checked again for trial dates from today, which is the 27th, 3 weeks in advance. But they would have had the trial by then. There's no way they would have had it between now and the 20th of July. It's only 7 days. So I dare say that unless there is a trial next month or the month after, then this thing's done and dusted, with no reporting that Mr. Ihsas Khan has been found to be not mentally well enough to stand trial, which is the outcome that they've got, which means he's not in jail. There's no jail term. There's no release time. There's no follow-up. He just disappears into the mental health world where, look, for his own welfare, it's best that he's just left alone and never heard from again. So that's it. That's Ihsas Khan, done and dusted. If there is anything, like, I will monitor this, and in November when I get around to doing another video, it takes time. I can get snapshots of stuff and put it aside, but to make the videos just takes time. I will gather up something and put it in the November video, but I dare say that this thing has been finalised, and it was a total hoax. And we know from the three main things jump out at me: PK's blue car video, that just straight up, none of that made sense. The fact that there was cameras and captured everything, but the blood also, like, you get stabbed, you lose most of your blood in the first 10, 15, 20 seconds. You don't run 100 metres, then start burning 3 litres of blood, which is about what he would have, if you calculate how much blood was on the floor and on the glass and on the car. I mean, there's about 3 people would have had that amount of blood in them, not one person, even though he's pretty fat. And the taser, which was shown at the trial, which you can't really see again, but I've got it up on my channel if you can find it back through the old videos, where the sound of the taser's just going full blast, and he's just getting up and doing his own thing, and then he goes, oh, okay, now I will be affected. So then 3 points show that this was a hoax, and but they achieved what they wanted to achieve, which was those laws, those detention laws, which one of my more recent videos just gone end up being absolute nightmare, and they're going to be used down the track against us when things start to go not our way. And of course, they got on the media, terror, and that's all they wanted. Even the last one, they did say he was going to go for mental health assessments, but the fact they announced it in the media, but then haven't followed up on whether yes he's going to trial or no he has been, or yes he has been determined mentally unwell, I think pretty much confirms that directions hearing, again, they keep having all these directions hearings and they don't seem to need one. That's what's canned it. So that's it. Ihsas Khan, total hoax. They got what they achieved. It's now done and dusted. Now, this second epilogue, and it is an epilogue, it's the career of Bill Shorten as opposition leader. He's never going to be Prime Minister. And here's another hit piece by Channel 9. It's really getting to the end. The end for the bill is nigh. And he's Mr. Skateboard himself. He plays a bit of a part in this, but it's primarily Carl Stefanovic. He's meant to be an independent journalist, just asking the questions. They don't do that. They spell out the opinions straight from a script. He makes declarations. He makes it sound like it's factual, and this is how it is. He should be asking the questions, and the people that he's interviewing should be giving the answers. But Carl's reading from the script. You watch; he spends so much time reading the script. He didn't. He's a bit slow, Carl, because newsreaders can remember like a heap in one go, whereas Carl can't seem to remember much at all. He has to keep looking back at the script, and that's all this is. This is a script by the bankers to get their man Albanese in. And I'll just towards the end, gets a bit sickening, and I'll just make one more comment. But here it is. What I've done is I got rid of most of the interview because it's all rubbish anyway, but just shown where they actually go for the hits.
How long's Bill Shorten got Bill Shorten isn't trusted. They don't want Bill Shorten's $270 billion of new taxes, and they just don't trust Bill Shorten as Prime Minister of Australia.
Are you too gutless to push for the Labor leadership?
Last election.
Bill Shorten's not working. Why don't you push for the leadership? What you want is someone else to do the dirty work for you, to lance that boil. It's not going to be Bill Shorten that does that. Is it going to be hard for you to skewer Bill Shorten? Here is, you know you're the most popular Labor candidate. You know you're the most likely to lead your party to success at the next election, but you don't want blood on your hands. I think maybe the Australian public don't want to go through all this. Maybe they want you to take over from Bill Shorten now. You have to read that. You have to make a decision. You have to show leadership as well, don't you? The public doesn't want to see soft Anthony Albanese. They want to see Anthony Albanese stand up and say, I want to be Prime Minister. I want to lead this party. Party comes to you and says, righto, it's time for Bill to go.
Now and that has real implications.
Now you're sounding like the leader of the party. Will you be leader at the next election?
Well, yesterday Anthony threw Bill under the bus.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
I spoke to him, I think, maybe earlier this week.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
you've been caught
earlier this
out
week.
there.
We speak all the time.
I understand.
I
Which year?
speak to
Which
him.
year was it?
I speak to
Okay, so points to note from that is look at them all just laughing about the next leader of the nation. To them, they've just bagged Bill Shorten non-stop, making all these claims that are unfounded. Carl Stefanovic doesn't know what the Australian public thinks. He doesn't care what they think. But there he is stating the Australian public want this, the Australian public wants that. He knows nothing of that. That's just what he wants. And he says that Anthony Albanese doesn't want to do the dirty work. Well, he doesn't have to, because Channel 9 is doing the dirty work for him, because they're Goldman Sachs and Anthony Albanese is Goldman Sachs, as in Malcolm Turnbull. I mean, why would the Christopher Pyne, who's supposed to be on the other side of politics, want a tougher opponent in an election? He wouldn't. He'd be going, oh no, Bill Shorten's fine, keep him in. But he doesn't. He's bagging Bill Shorten as well. So Bill's gone. And Mr. Apple Pie Face Man, oh, look at him, he looks so defensive. So they're going to have a horse in each race, is that it? No, well, they're going to have a foot in both sides there, with Albanese on one side, Turnbull on the other, and they can't lose. And it just means debt up, GDP down, all renewables, no coal-fired power stations, Tomago aluminium's gone. I said all that in the last one. So anyway, this is I'd throw that out there as an epilogue. Like I said, we'll get back in November, and just before I go, just want to thank, even though this is a Johnny Farter moment, it was supposed to be his last video. What's this one going for? He's not getting another send-off, I'll tell you. Had that at work once. A guy left, he got a big party. He came back 3 months later. Hey, you're not getting another one. So, yeah, I do another final vid, because that's what I wanted to say. I really appreciated all the favourable comments and all the kudos and that I was getting in my last video prior to this epilogue. Yeah, it was really good. I think one said this was my favourite channel. Well, I'll take that any day of the week. So, look, thanks to everyone. I really appreciate it. Now, just before I do go there, I'll pay tribute to someone. Did you see Woodrow Wobble's video on that supposed African riot where the cars got damaged? That was just gold. That's a whole level he's gone to there. That was just great. Hope he can keep putting those ones out. That was just fantastic. I watched the whole thing, really good, and he really highlighted how that. See, I think the cop that was doing the actual interview, I think he thought that not too much can go wrong here. It's just, we've got all the bases covered. The cops hid inside and a few cars got damaged. But you see these young reporters, because they didn't, prep the reporters or vet the reporters. You had that young guy, like he had a puzzle sounding to his voice. He's going, well, what, didn't one cop stay next to all those cars, all that equipment? It's worth a fortune. Like, it's a dangerous situation. There's people everywhere. There's violence, and you just leave the cars totally unattended. And the cop's like, shit, get this guy out of here. Can someone shut him up? Oh, that was the funniest part. But well done, Woodrow. Fantastic video.